ధ్యానమూలం గురుర్మూర్తిం పూజామూలం గురుర్పదం మంత్రమూలం గురుర్వాక్యం మోక్షమూలం గురుర్కృపా. We often hear people wishing each other have a healthy life. What does healthy mean? Healthy means free of illness, free of sickness. Now, why do we fall ill or sick? It could be due to lack of immunity. So, what do we do to get immunity? And importantly, immune to what? We don't have control over our environment, but we do have a choice over our way of living. We need to first understand about ourselves, the influences of external and internal forces which could destabilize us and thus make us ill. When we address those, our immunity becomes better. According to Upanishads, human beings are made up of 5 koshas or sheaths. These are also called as bodies. These 5 bodies are Annamaya kosha, which is the physical body made up of food and water. Pranamaya kosha, which is the energy body. It is the pranic body. Manomaya kosha, which is made up of feelings, thoughts, emotions, and others. Vijnanamaya kosha, which is our wisdom body. And finally, Anandamaya kosha, which is our bliss body. Now, how do these bodies actually work? These bodies are having overlapping in attribute and they have mutual influence. And all these bodies work together and form the Prakriti or the human being that we are. Now, in order to understand this immunity, how these are affecting these bodies, we need to understand the functioning of these bodies. So, the Annamaya kosha is responsible for holding the structure for the other bodies. It is the dense of all the bodies, and it is susceptible to external forces, and because of that it might fall sick. The pranic body or the pranamaya kosha, it is made up of the vital energy. Without this energy, the body cannot function. It is the life force. The body will be lifeless without this pranic energy. And this pranic energy has got 5 subcomponents into that as well. Now, if this pranic flow inside the body is not happening properly, if there is a block, if there is an issue, then it is going to affect the other bodies as well. The next body, the Manomaya kosha, it is the seat of all our thoughts, emotions, and when pranic body or the physical body have some problem, they will have an impact on our mind. Similarly, our mind, when it is not stable, when it is stressed, it is going to have an impact on the other bodies. Then the Vijnanamaya kosha is the place where the human being knows, acts, judges, and takes decisions. In order to take a strong decision, the rest of the bodies should be functioning well. If there is any impact to that, then the decision making power is impaired. And finally, the bliss body, it is the connection with the supra consciousness, the universal force. So only when these four bodies are functioning well, the bliss body will be able to get in touch and probably remain with the universal force. So now we understand that all these bodies are interlinked, and any issues that are happening in these bodies will have an impact on the overall well-being. We will fall sick. So now we need to have a way to immunize all the bodies. How do we do that? Is there a way? Yes, that is the yogic practice. Now, in fact, we should call it as yogic lifestyle. It's not just a practice, it's a way of living. Patanjali, the sage Patanjali, he describes this as having 8 limbs or Ashtanga Yoga. Now, of all these 8 limbs, we will look at the first 4 angas or limbs and discuss on how they have an impact on the well-being and the immunity of the 5 koshas that we talked about earlier. So the first one, Yama simply talks about how a person should behave in a society. This is very important because our behavior has an influence on the society, and how the society treats us has an influence on us. And this could lead to illnesses, be it mental, be it physical. So this Yama tells basically in the society you should be observing 5 of the components. Those 5 components are Ahimsa, Satya, Asteya, Brahmacharya and Aparigraha. So what does Ahimsa mean? It means harmless mind, mouth and body. So we have to ensure that we are living a life where we do not harm any other living things intentionally or unintentionally. And Satya means being truthful, which means that there is truth and they are interconnected in our thoughts, actions and words, all the 3 together. Asteya basically means, it stems from the point that unnecessary material consumption should be avoided. We should be happy with what we have in our hands. And Brahmacharya, which means control of all our senses. In most of the cases, the lack of control here makes us to commit mistakes, and that leads to misery, and that's an imbalance in that kosha as well as that's affecting the rest of the body. So by following this, as well as the last one, Aparigraha, which is non-possessiveness, not getting attached to material and other things, we can ensure that the immunity is built up in our body, so we are able to face any situation. And in the Niyama, which is essentially a self-discipline methods, we have Saucha as the topmost principle to be followed. Saucha means cleanliness. This cleanliness and or purity, it refers to physical as well as mental and subsequently our actions as well. And for physical cleanliness, Hatha Yoga actually proposes Satkriya. By following that, we can ensure that our body stays at topmost condition, and by that avoid getting ill or sick. And by keeping the rest of the areas like mind and body and also the environment, we further reduce the risk of falling sick there. And the second tenet over there is santosha. Santosha means satisfaction or contentment. We are happy with, or we should learn to live happy with whatever we have. The contentment is very important. Greed or any sort of negative aspect of that is going to cause problems in the physical as well as mental bodies. Then we have tapasya, which is endurance. Endurance meaning the life is going to throw at us a number of challenges. These challenges should be faced with positivity. We should ensure that we don't fall prey for and succumb into negative emotions. And if we get into that, then it will lead to depression, and the depression will make us further ill. So we need to ensure that we are able to face those situations with a positive attitude. And finally, last but one, the swadhyaya. Swadhyaya basically means enhancing, keep improving our knowledge on the principles that we talked about so far. So we have to constantly strive to better ourselves, improve our knowledge and apply that so that we stay healthy and immune to all the negative forces outside. The last one, Ishvara Pranidhana, it basically means that having utmost faith on the universe and guided by that faith. So while making decisions where there are things are beyond our control, instead of getting stressed by that, we leave it to the universe to guide us. And that faith is very important. So these are all the part of the self-discipline. And it's not just that, we also have asanas, which constitute a very core component of this yogic lifestyle. Asanas are physical exercises which help us to keep our body and also through that our mind in topmost condition. They keep us flexible, they keep us disease free in the long run. So these asanas are not for therapeutic purposes, but they are ensuring that we are keeping ourselves in topmost condition. Then the pranayama. So now we talked about all other bodies, the physical body, mental body, vijnana, kosha. What about the energy body? The pranayama, which consists of a number of breathing exercises as well as kriyas, which are meant for managing the life force prana, will have to be strictly followed. And following that, we ensure that pranic energy inside the body is circulating properly, and the entire remaining bodies, they depending on the well-being of the body. I mean, in addition to that, we also talked about 4 more limbs that are there: pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, and samadhi. These limbs basically are they depend on the functioning and well-being of the body and the other layers, and that is achieved through the first 4 limbs that we mentioned. So these are all in a way all interconnected. However, from the immunity perspective, for maintaining those bodies, the first 4 are vital. The remaining are also important in the long run. Now we talked about the various bodies, the influences, and also how we can avoid those or minimize the risks of those by following the yogic practice. However, I would like to conclude this with one strong point. The ultimate immunity we need is to fight against the disillusionment or maya. This maya is the one which is blocking us from our journey back to the wholeness or self-realization. Yogic practices are the key to remove this veil, be immune to this maya, and connect with the divinity within ourselves.
Namaskaram. I am Mohan Raj from Swami Omkar Foundation, Singapore. First and foremost, on behalf of Swami Omkar Foundation, Singapore, I would like to congratulate all our fellow disciples, family and friends who took part in Swami Omkar Foundation International Yoga Day 2020 celebration today, and with Swamiji's blessings, we successfully completed doing the 108 Surya Namaskarams. I would also like to take this golden opportunity to thank the Almighty Divine Grace and our Swamiji for giving me this opportunity to express the little I know about fasting and yogic diet. First, I'll cover fasting. As for fasting, there are various types of fasting. Going without consuming any food, alternate day fast, 12-hour or half day fast, specific day fast like Thursdays for Gurus, Mondays for Lord Shiva, Shashti for Murugar, Fridays for Amman, and Saturdays for Perumal. Chandrahamsa fasting and upholding Ahimsa are also considered a type of fasting, but these are lifelong practices. So naturally, one wants to know what is the best method of fasting and why must fast. The purpose of our ancestors adopting fasting is not only to cleanse the body of toxins and let the body rest, but to uplift each and every one spiritually to a higher level of living as per our Veda Shastrams. The fasting method was not just focused on not consuming food during the fasting period, but choosing the right specific dates or called tidis in line with our astrology. Our Vedas say the rising phase of the moon has a strong influence on our body and mind. And there is special mention to do Ekadasi fasting in our Vedas, which is observed on every 11th lunar day of the month. Lord Krishna has said he is Ekadasi in Bhagavad Gita. I like to focus my speech on what is Ekadasi fasting. The fasting method taught to us, most emphasized and encouraged by our Swamiji. Ekadasi Tithi comes every 15 days in two cycles. One is the receding moon and the other one is the rising moon cycle. Fasting during both cycles is good for your body and health. And the usual practice of 1 day fast, that is on Ekadasi itself, not consuming any food on Ekadasi day itself, is not proper as it upsets the body system and mind. The actual Ekadasi fasting starts 3 days before the Ekadasi day itself, and 3 days after Ekadasi, a total of 7 days. The process of the 7 day is, the first day, Ashtami, you take simple soft meal porridge and less spicy food. And the second day, Navami, you take non-cooked food vegetables, example carrots, green vegetables and fruits. The third day, you'll be taking only fruit juices. The fourth day is the most important day, is the Ekadasi day, and is considered a full water day. Preferably you go to the temple, and after your prayers you take the temple Tirtham as the start of the Ekadasi water day. Fifth day, sixth and seventh is actually the reverse of what you did the first, second, third day. So fifth day will be Dwadasi, you go back to fruit juices only, and sixth day Triyodasi, non-cooked food, vegetables, fruits. And the seventh day, Chadurdasi, back to your simple soft meal, porridge and less spicy food. Try taking Ekadasi fasting and you will see the benefits for yourself, and then you can decide for your own self. I can read your mind saying, yeah, all this is very good in theory, or what is there in real for me by doing Ekadasi fasting. On my part, I started doing one cycle, which is the rising moon cycle, and lately for the last 5 months I've been doing both cycles of the Ekadasi fast. Yes, the 7 days Ekadasi fast is process sounds very tough and for any beginner, and I humbly request you to seek Swamiji's blessings and start doing the Ekadasi fasting. What are your gains by doing Ekadasi fasting? End of fasting period, physically you will lose about 3 to 4 kgs. I reported this to Swamiji, and Swamiji, in his usual way of encouragement, told me that having lost 3 kgs of waste detoxification and actually gained 3 kgs of spiritual health, a triggering point that made me continue with Ekadasi fasting on a regular basis. Gives you control over craving of food, and Ekadasi fasting gives you the confidence that you can do away without 3 meals a day. Lightness of the body are very helpful for yoga practitioners like us in doing yoga asanas, example halasanas, and even when you are doing pranakriya. Increased in vairakyam, perseverance, and abstract inner feeling that helps one in the upkeep of doing the sadhanas on a regular basis. I have covered the little I know about Ekadasi fasting, and disciples who are already doing, please continue to do so. And those who are interested to take up Ekadasi fasting, please connect with Swamiji, who has an excellent write-up on Ekadasi fasting, both in Tamil and English. Now I'll cover a little bit of yogic diet. Needless to say, it's quite natural for any regular yoga practitioner to exercise control and be careful of what we eat. Yogic diet must be food that is not high in acidity, meaning salty, sour or bitter, that imbalances the body system and even affects our heart rate. Eating meat or flesh foods overheats the body and cause digestive problems. Yogic diet is also to avoid eating overheated food or reheated food or leftover food, as it causes fermentation to our stomach, resulting in indigestion, wind and acidity. A yogi must avoid food that makes us sluggish, example alcohol-based food, because it intoxifies your mind, destabilizes you and internally damages important parts, body parts like liver and brain. These are important body parts that do not reproduce themselves. As you know, in yoga, we are doing our best to upkeep our body health at all times in the best interest of spiritual progress. Yogic diet must be food focused on consuming anything for quick digestion and not to overstrain the body system, and importantly not to waste our prana on digestion. Under yogic diet, the stomach is not overloaded, and the strict formula of a yogic diet is half filled with food, quarter with water and quarter with air. As Swamiji has always said, as a yogi, we must be aware, meaning spend a few seconds of observing the food, realize what we are going to consume, absorb the taste into your mind, and then consume the food in the name of the inner consciousness. This way, the food we consume is taken wholly into the body state. Egos like I want to eat, I must eat, I am eating should be avoided, as food consumed in this manner or hurriedly manner only satisfies the mind and therefore leads to health related issues. Some eat food as a means of escape from stress or frustration. Under yogic diet, food is regarded as medicine to purify and refuel our body and mind, to maintain this body for progress, spiritual progress, and doing sadhanas. உடம்புக்குள்ளே உத்தமன் கோயில் கொண்டான் என்று உடம்பை யான் இங்கிருந்து ஓம்புகின்றேனே சே திருமுலர். Simply, divinity is inside, is in ourselves, and is our duty to maintain this body, said Tirumular. Yogic diet is to eat cautiously. In summary, the yogic diet is called mitahara, or meaning eating sattvic food or sattva, that is alkaline based food, which are rich, basically whole grains, rice, milk, honey, vegetables, fruits, and a lot of water. Sattva means the quality of nature and mind, which is steady, pure, and harmonious. A yogic diet should be simple and focus on how the intake of food should be going to nourish our body, especially our important body structures like skin, flesh, and blood. Yogic diet should avoid heavy food that leads to tamasic or rajasa gunas, that leads to confusion, ignorance, induces sleep, and being lethargic, which are qualities we want to avoid to make progress in our spiritual path. Also, under yogic diet, we want to eat food that maintains our body and digestive system, and food waste washed away easily while doing our Satkriyas like basti. I would like to conclude my speech here, and once again I would like to take this opportunity to thank the Almighty Divine Grace and our Swamiji, Swami Omkar, for giving me this opportunity to express the little I know about fasting and yogic diet.
Shambho Mahadeva. Vanakkam and happy International Yoga Day to all of you. Today, on this special day, I would like to share about the Satkriya and important Hatha Yoga practices which I learned from our Guru Swami Omkar. Satkriya is an Hatha Yoga practices to clean the body and mind. With Satkriya, it drastically improves the physical wealth, and in terms of spiritual, it helps to progress to the next level and experience more about the spiritual sadhanas. Shat means 6 and Kriya means action. So with 6 different types of actions, we are cleaning all over the body and mind. So namely, there are 6 Kriyas, which are Neti, Dauti, Nauli, Basti, Kabalpadi, and Trataka. Now let's talk about one by one with more details. Neti. Neti is to clean the nasal passages. There are basically 2 types of Neti. One is Jalaneti and another is Sudraneti. Jala means water, where water is used to clean the nasal passages. There is a specially designed Neti part where we will fill the water and send by one nostril and brings out into the another nostril. Same way we repeat to the another nostril to clean both the nostrils. Sutra Neti is Sutra means thread, where there is a specially designed wax thread used to clean the nasal passages, where the sutra will be inserted into one of the nostril and pulled out via tongue and pulled back and forth to clean the nasal passages. The same way we will do for the other nostril. The main advantage of Neti, which makes respiratory system strong and which effectively deals the asthma and sinus. Dauti. Dauti is to clean the digestive tract. There are several variants. So let's talk about Lagu Shanga Prasanna, where we will be drinking lukewarm water added with sea salt, and several yoga postures will be followed after drinking the water to clean the digestive tract. This is There is another variant. Interestingly, it's called Vastra Dauti. Vastram means cloth, where a strip of cloth is swallowed slowly and pulled back slowly to clean the digestive tract. Usually, Shankaprasana will not be, usually the Dauti will not be done regularly, once in 3 months or 6 months based on the needs. There will be food restrictions has to be followed after the Dauti. Basti is to clean the large intestine, especially the colon. This is also known as enema, where there will be a enema cup used for this process, which is also commonly known as enema, where enema cup is used in this process. Usually the water will be filled into the enema cup and sent inside the body through anus and expelled after some time. Only after the enema process we will realize that our stools are not completely expelled from the body as part of our daily morning routines. This helps to clean the colon, by which we will feel good, and we can see the drastic improvements in the health. Whatever it may be, we will feel, whatever health condition we are, we will feel it improve quickly. Nauli is a colon cleansing, where abdominal muscles are contracted in specific manner to massage the digestive tract, which brings drastic improvement into the digestive system, also which helps to remove the sticky waste from the digestive tract to pass via the tools. Usually Nauli will be done along with the Basti. Kapalpadi is certain way of breathing forcefully and continuously for some time by contracting the abdominal muscles. This cleans the respiratory system, lungs, stimulates the digestive system, this is also called as skull cleansing. It is not a daily practice. Also, we need to ensure the Sushumna Nadi is open before doing the Kapalpadi. Trataka is to clear the mind, usually done by gazing the lamp at our eye level. It cleans and heals the eyes, improves memory and concentration, improves vision, relieves stress, which also helps in bringing good sleep. Once again, I would like to say Satkriya is an important practice which helps in physical health drastically and also helps to move further, which also helps to progress further spiritually. Thank you, Swamiji and Divine, to give the opportunity to talk about Satkriya on this special day.
My warmest greetings to everyone present here today. I am Shanti, and I learned yoga formally under the guidance of Swamiji when I enrolled in the Basic Yoga Teachers Training Program in 2015 in Singapore. Yoga is a discipline. Yoga is an experience which helps us to balance and harmonize the body, the mind and emotions gradually but surely. My personal experience is that when I incorporated yoga into my lifestyle, it brought about a lot of internal changes in my body, and it also channeled me into the right path in my life, in my journey of life with divine and Guru's blessings. Yoga has 8 parts to it, like do's, don't do, asanas, which is called yoga postures, management of energy or life force in us, which is pranayama, inward flowing of senses, concentration to condition our senses, meditation, and finally merging into the higher reality. So as you see, it is not simply a form of exercise for health benefits and for our well-being. Yoga is of divine nature. It is beyond our intellectual contemplation. We must be a sincere aspirant to walk in the path of yoga. So it is important to learn yoga is best learned under the guidance of a good teacher and not through books and YouTube channels as the current trend seems to be. In basic yoga teachers training program, we learn the classical and the traditional yoga, traditional style of yoga. We were blessed, I would say we were blessed to be guided by Swamiji because we acquired a true knowledge of yoga, both theory and practical. As mentioned earlier, yoga has 8 steps to it. Asana, which is called the yoga posture, is the 3rd step. Pranayama is the breathing technique to manage the management of internal life force in us, is the 4th step. In asanas, we practice Surya Namaskaram, which is the mark of respect for the 5 elements which is the universe is made up of, and also the 5 elements within our body. And then we have the backward bend, forward bend, sitting postures, standing postures, inverted postures, lying down, balancing postures. Okay, before we start asanas, we do eye exercise and warm up exercises. As for pranayamas, it's a sequence of breathing techniques where we learn all in a sequence, the way of breathing in a sequence, and this is to manage as I said earlier, is to manage the internal life force in us. All these practices will let our body to be balanced. That means our right side and the left side of the body is well balanced. This is necessary to climb the steps of yoga in future. Okay, how can we practice yoga? We can do it on our own, and we call it self yoga practice, and the other one is group practice. In self yoga practice, I think we need a lot of discipline. We have, especially on the timing, we have a suitable time for yoga practice will be 6 a.m. or 6 p.m. and so we must make sure that we are there at the right time to practice our yoga. And secondly, and most importantly also, is the environment or the house environment, which must be very conducive for yoga practice, because we need a very peaceful mind and we need to be very focused. So the environment plays a very key role. It has to be very quiet and it cannot be distracted, and we have to follow through all the sequence of the asanas and the pranayamas in a very quiet place. And as we are a self-instructor here, we have to know and remember all the sequence for asanas and pranayamas very well. And we also do a self check on the body positions of the asanas, not only to do it correctly, the asanas, but to avoid pain and discomfort that may arise after the yoga practice. So in self yoga practice, I feel that you must be a very highly self-motivated person and a very determined person too, and so that you can practice yoga regularly as planned, and in order to achieve your goal in yoga. The second way is a group class. In a group we have already fixed the time, so we will be punctual. Secondly, we will be properly attired, which is as required, and the place or the choice of place will be definitely conducive for yoga practice. Okay, then we in a group practice we will select two yogacharyas. One will be the instructor, the other person will be a demonstrator. Both instructor and demonstrator has an activity plan with them. They will follow through a sequence of asanas and follow a sequence of pranayama breathing techniques, okay, in the class. So the instructor will tell the name of the asana and give a simple instruction to the demonstrator to show us how is the asana is done. That means how it should be done. Okay. So as in a group, we are very motivated. We pay a lot of attention. We are in high spirits in a group. So we have this feeling that okay, we want to learn it the right way. That means we want to learn to do the asana correctly. Okay. And then this instruction and demonstration is repeated as per our request. In a group, as we practice, the experienced yogacharyas will go around and check and also guide us how to do the asanas, and they also motivate us to attempt asanas which we find very challenging. They even give us tips on warm-up exercises where we can do back at home daily and so as to achieve these challenging asanas in future. Okay. Next, the second part of the yoga session is the pranayama, where we will follow through the clear instruction in a very quiet environment. We go through all the sequence of the breathing techniques in order. This will help us to attain the benefit fully, like we will observe our breath very carefully in a very peaceful environment. That will help us to derive the benefits fully. Before we end our section, we have a question and answer session and also sharing of experiences. Here, yoga topics, health related issues are discussed in a very casual manner, and so we gather a lot of knowledge and awareness about yoga and health. At the end of the day, we also feel happy that we have done yoga in the right way with a group of people, a group of yoga conscious people, and we feel uplifted with a very high level of positive energy in us when we go back home. Okay. To me, what is good for me? I feel good and motivated to attend a class regularly, maybe a weekly class. But nevertheless, I will still practice my yoga, my asanas, my pranayamas, exercises daily at home. So as a revision for my next class. Okay, I would like to now thank Swamiji for all his blessings and also giving me an opportunity to share my experience. My best wishes to every one of you to start or continue your yoga path with divine and Swamiji's blessings.
I pay my gratitude to my Guru and seeking his blessings before I start my speech today. I am very thankful to my Guru Swami Omkar for giving me this opportunity to talk about meditation is medication. I am going to go through what is meditation, not how to meditate. When your physical body and the mental body completely ceases, then meditation will happen. You cannot do meditation, you cannot practice it, only you can understand it. When we say meditation, you must understand, this is not something we can do. You can become meditative state, but you cannot do meditation. To become meditative state, your physical body, your energy, your mind should be aligned together. As many of you are aware, we have 5 bodies: physical body, pranic body, mental body, wisdom body, and soul. First, we will look into physical body. You can fix your physical body by doing proper yoga and taking light food, and then fasting. And the next one is pranic body. How do you maintain your pranic body? By doing pranayama and pranakriya. Pranakriya is nothing but advanced level of pranakriya. But I suggest you to learn pranayama and pranakriya from proper guru. And the next one is mind body. Okay, first you should understand what is mind. Mind is nothing but collection of data. Since childhood, whatever you heard, whatever you read, whatever you listened through TV, newspaper, friends, family, it is nothing but a collection of data. Those collection of data are limited actually. With this data, you are always living in the past or in the future. You are not living in the present. To live in the present, you should give complete attention to day-to-day activities. Since you are awake in the morning and then till you go to bed, you need to watch your thoughts, your actions by each and every second. How do you give complete attention to each and every second? It's very difficult, right? I can give you some example. Say like you are afraid of snake and you have been locked inside the room with snake. So how do you give complete attention to the snake? It happens automatically, right? You will watch each and every movement of it. You can hear its breath, right? So like that, you need to give complete attention to each one of your thoughts and your actions. This is how you can fix your mind. Then you can live in the present. What is medication? A drug or other form of medicine which is being used to treat or prevent disease. Okay, the physical disease can be treated using medicines. But the mental disease, sorrow, fear, anxiety, cannot be treated using medicines. As you are aware, the mind is not physical, it is spiritual. So whenever your mind is getting affected, it will be reflected to physical body as a disease. So to fix your physical body, you need to fix your mind body. How do you fix your mind body? As I already told, give complete 100% attention to each and every thoughts. Live in the present. Then automatically your mind body will be fixed. Okay, I just want to conclude this topic. Meditation is medication for spiritual progress. Thank you.
Namaste everyone. My name is Catherine and I'm from Singapore. I knew about yoga a long time ago, but the first time I attended a yoga class was when a friend of mine, Usha, from the Swami Omkar Foundation, invited me to the temple on the Yoga International Day to do the Surya Namaskar. It was my first time to the temple, and it was also my first time doing yoga. It was very fast during the time when they were doing the Surya Namaskar on that day, but I never gave up. I continued doing, but it was slow motion. But nevertheless, I was very happy because I managed to complete it, and I felt very motivated after that. I came back home and I joined a yoga group, and I started practicing yoga at least once a week. Lately, I could do the shoulder stand, and I'm really excited. Yoga has helped me in many ways. First of all, I used to suffer insomnia, but lately I could sleep very well at night. And also I sleep in a very cold aircon room, and I used to get nose block. My nose used to be blocked in the morning, but lately when I wake up in the morning, my nose is not blocked anymore. I also love to run maybe 2-3 times a week for about 7 to 9 kilometers. And I find that even after I finish running, when I come back home, when I walk into my house, my breath is still consistent. It's like no one can tell that I just went for a run. It's just, my breathing is just so consistent, and I don't feel like I'm panting or grasping for breath. I also find that I am more flexible now when I started doing yoga, and I want to thank the Swami Omkar Foundation, the people, the group, for inviting me that day 3 years ago.